Ethiopia has completed the biggest hydroelectrical dam in Africa. Congratulations. Yeah. What's a dam? That's a dam right there. So basically, they will build a wall to stop water from running. Then the water will go through turbines. And these turbines, through the power of the water, will create electricity. Now, Ethiopia has built the dam. It was a major problem in its beginnings. They had issues with Egypt because, as you can see, they need to use water for that. What's water? River. Now, what river is there? It's the Nile River. Look at the Nile River. This is the Nile River on a map. You can see it comes all the way here down, all the way up to Egypt. I know when you speak about the Nile River, a lot of people think about Egypt. But the Nile River is the longest river in Africa, and I believe number 2 in the world. Longest river. Very, very long. It has its source in Uganda, okay? The river Nile. It goes all the way to Egypt. And obviously it has other tributary. One of the tributary come from Ethiopia. We'll get back to that. So Ethiopia and many countries such as Sudan and Egypt especially have gone through some turmoil because Ethiopia wanted to use the river Nile to build a dam to create electricity for the people of Ethiopia. Well, 60% of people in Ethiopia have no electricity. And Ethiopia said, well, but we have access to the river Nile. Why can't we just build the biggest dam called the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam to provide electricity for our people? Well, Egypt wasn't about that life. They didn't like that. Because Egypt believed if Ethiopia establishes a dam on the river Nile, it will slow down the flow of the water toward Egypt, therefore creating dryness and drying some of the plantations and disallowing them to utilize water the way they need to. So it was a big fight. Who's right, who's wrong? And Egypt was ready to go to war against Ethiopia. And Ethiopia said, no country will stop us from doing what we're about to do. If we want to get weapons, we can mobilize millions of people and we can do this. Now, Sudan was also worried about that because Sudan, as you can see on the map, also is next to Ethiopia. So the river Nile goes through Sudan as well. So if you look at this, you can see one of the rivers tributary, it's called the Blue Nile, start at the Lake Tana in Ethiopia, and it converges with the White Nile in Sudan, capital of Khartoum. You see, it comes from Ethiopia all the way to Sudan, Khartoum. So one tributary from Ethiopia, the Blue Nile, and the White Nile tributary comes from Uganda, and it comes together all the way to Khartoum, then it goes up. You can see here, the Nile streams down toward Egypt. Now the problem is here, there are several dams along the way, including Egypt's own Aswan Dam. So Egypt has got its own dam as well here. Okay, but they don't want Ethiopia to have a dam. Now, this Aswan Dam is very interesting because the river Nile would flow annually. So big water would flow annually between June and September toward Egypt, and it would flood some of the plantations when there's a lot of water, and when there is no water, it becomes very dry. Now, Egypt, in cooperation with the British, built the dam with the goal of controlling the flux of water. Ethiopia says it has completed building a mega dam on the Blue Nile that has long been a source of tension with Egypt and Sudan. Launched in 2011 with a $4 billion budget, the dam is Africa's biggest hydroelectric plant and a major source of pride for Ethiopia. Ethiopia sees the dam as vital to meeting its energy needs, but Egypt and Sudan sees it as threatening the water supply from the Nile. Now, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia said that to our neighbors downstream, Egypt and Sudan, our message is clear. The Renaissance Dam is not a threat, but a shared opportunity. Now, fellas, US President in 2020 said that Egypt had threatened to blow up the dam, officially known as Grand Ethiopia Renaissance. Now, remember, Egypt, as per Ethiopian, armed some rebels to come and create mayhem in Ethiopia, and by the same occasion to bomb the dam. The Ethiopians obviously fought them, and up until now, nothing blatant has occurred. Ethiopia has accused Egypt to sabotage the dam. Prime Minister said that both Egypt and Sudan will be invited to its official inauguration in September. He says, we believe in shared progress, shared energy, and shared water. Now, fellas, Africans have issues with each other. I mean, yeah, before we look at foreign nations and saying colonialism, you know, I'll always be blunt with you, okay? Who's doing something. Hopefully they're going to share with other people or not. Let me know how you feel about this. People of Congo have no electricity. Yes, Congolese people have no electricity. In the capital, electricity, sometimes it's on this side of town. This side is dark. Then it goes on this side, and that side is dark. Then it goes on this side, and this side is dark. The authorities are getting richer. They're buying big houses, big cars. They have houses in South Africa, in Qatar, in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia. But in the meantime, the people are suffering. No electricity. Such a big country. Sometimes you ask yourself questions like, is the country maybe not too big? Perhaps, I don't know. It's just a question I'm asking, because if most of the people run away from their provinces, they all just go to the capital. They never go back. They never go back to unlike some countries where people will go to town to work, and by the end of the year, go back to their provinces where they were born. People of Congo don't go back to province. They're all they're all from the capital. Nobody goes. The provinces are empty. That's why rebel group are coming and occupying places, and they're crying now, my province. Well, provinces are empty. Why? Because they're underdeveloped. If you look at these provinces, they look like 1960s. I'm sorry. No road, no hospitals, no nothing. I mean, you go to an hospital, look at an hospital like this. Look at this. Who would want to stay here? Nobody want to stay there. But the leaders are getting richer. They have bigger houses. They have properties, and it's just insane. I don't know. It's Congo. Congo used to have Inga. Inga is this one, this dam. This dam Inga is the biggest dam in Africa. Okay? Inga could produce enough electricity for all African nations. Inga could produce enough electricity for everybody, all African nations. That's how big it was. Mismanaged. They looted the money. They misplaced it's sad. Right now, it's not doing anything. It's on the ground. They cannot function. Let's encourage Ethiopia right now. But they're the biggest hydraulic electrical plant in the world that's not functioning. But it's insane. And now we're going to Zambia. Here's Zambia, fellas. Do you know Zambia? That's Zambia for you. You gotta go have a party in Zambia, have a good time in Zambia. I see a lot of African Americans going to Zambia. There's a lady doing great things in Zambia. I believe she's into mining and stuff. Left the United States of America, went to Zambia to mine. Now she owns big plots with gold and I believe copper and stuff like that. Doing amazing job. It's amazing, you know. There's no such thing as it's my country, you must leave my country, you are using my facilities in my country. No, you're giving everybody opportunities to grow. I mean, that's what it is. There's no use for you to be with the country if you can't do nothing in the country. You need to utilize your country so you can grow in your country. Or maybe you need to learn from people who know how to use things from the country so you can grow in the country. Okay, so 2 female tourists in Zambia, unfortunately, have been unalived by an elephant. Yeah, fellas. Yeah, they are not Africans. One is from the UK, the other one is from New Zealand. Elderly women, 68 and 67 years old, went to a safari in Zambia, and unfortunately, they were stamped by female elephants that had a calf. So the female elephant and the baby, you know, they're very aggressive. They don't like you being curious. I understand sometimes you think they're cute. Oh, cutie. No, they're not cute. They're not cute at all. They're meat. We eat them. We eat them. We eat them because they're meat. They're not cute. The only cute thing is a dog. Okay, even some people eat dogs in some countries. I'm not going to name. I don't want to. Okay. Let me not get into that. Yeah. And they talk a lot because they eat dog. They talk a lot. Okay, let me just maybe. Yeah. No. So it's very sad, a very sad situation. And I mean, Africa need tourists, Zambia need tourists because it generates money in many, many ways. Generate money not just by seeing animals, but the wildlife makes money for the people. Okay, the walking safaris, when you go walk into safari, you pay big amount of money to do that. The photographic safari, when you go take pictures of leopard, of lions, of buffaloes, you make money. You get luxury lodges, you know, these very expensive lodges where people go, they pay like $2,000, $5,000 a night, $10,000 a night. It's a lot of money, revenue for the country. Okay. Matter of fact, tourism accounts for about 7% of the GDP of Zambia. 7% is a lot of money. I mean, Zambia's got copper, a lot of it, but 7% come from tourism. Okay, there's also trophy hunting when you can go into an African country and hunt an elephant. When the elephant dies, they give you a trophy skin of an elephant you take back home. You need a license to do that. You know, hunting license, and a license can vary from $5,000 to $10,000, and it's massive revenue. So Zambia need people to come, but people need to be cautious. You know, these are not cute animals, and I'm not saying that that's what they did. I mean, they've been instances where people trying to pet the lion. Oh, it's so cute. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? We only pet lions on Thursdays. Not on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, only Thursdays. And you must make sure it's on the 29th of February. Thursdays. If it's on Thursday, 29th of February, something. Yeah. You don't. And before you do that, make sure you drink milk. The milk must not be cow's milk. It has to be goat milk. Leave some of it here because they will smell. When they smell the milk is goat, you can touch them, no problem. Like on the Thursday. But if it's not milk from the goat, they're not just. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Well, peace be with them. You gotta be cautious. If you're an African American, I understand you want to do tourism and stuff like that. See the lion, the leopard. See them from afar, brother. Stay on the truck. Watch them from a distance. No, they're not Pumbaa and Simba. None of that. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It was a great pleasure. Ethiopia pushing forward with the dam was going to produce a lot of electricity for them. Probably going to be selling electricity to some African countries. Good for them. And also providing electricity to 60% of the population that does not have electricity right now. Egypt is not happy about that. They feel like they're taking water away from them, even though Egypt has its own dam, which they use to master the flow of water, to avoid over whatever you call it, and also they use it for electricity. Egypt has got it, but Egypt doesn't want Ethiopia to have it because they feel like if the water coming from Ethiopia is blocked and controlled by Ethiopia, Egypt might get drier. Now, these are theories that are not necessarily practical. And Egypt, at some point, was ready to go to war with Ethiopia. Well, Ethiopia has got millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. There's a lot of Ethiopians out there. There's President say I can get 100 millions of Ethiopians ready to go to war for this if this is what you want. Who's right, who's wrong? Well, let me know how you feel about that. Can Africans work together for pushing Africa further? Like, when will Africa become like European Union, where they work for each other's interest? When will Africa be like the United States of America so they can be powerful and sustain themselves and stop fighting one another for stupid things? And again, don't go touch the elephant. I didn't say they touch the elephant, but you don't do it. It's not good. God bless.